No, good.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم ينفعنا بما علمنا وعلم ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا كريم يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
Doing
barakatuh.
well, alhamdulillah, this beautiful Sunday morning. Alhamdulillah, we're here with our Essence of Guidance class, going over the 40 Hadith of Imam Nawawi rahimahullah. So we covered the first Hadith. Today is the fifth session. So we're going over Hadith number 4 today. Like I said, we're skipping Hadith number 3. Like I said, we're not going over all 42 Hadith in Imam Nawawi's collection because we won't be able to finish in 12 weeks. So we're just picking the majority of a good majority of the Hadith that have beneficial lessons in it. And you see Hadith number 3 talks about the 5 pillars of Islam, so therefore it's kind of somewhat redundant to what we already covered already, so that's the reason why we're going to be skipping it. So inshallah ta'ala we'll be going over Hadith number 4 today. So what I'll do, like usual, I'll read in Arabic and then we'll go over the explanation. I don't know if anyone has any questions from last week, but if you don't, then inshallah ta'ala we'll go over it from this week as well. So the Hadith that we have عن أبي عبد الرحمن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال حدثنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو هو الصادق المصدوق إن أحدكم يجمع خلقه في بطن أمه 40 يوما نطفة ثم يكون علقة مثل ذلك ثم يكون مضغة مثل ذلك ثم يرسل إليه ملك فينفخ فيه الروح فيؤمر بأربع كلمات بكتب رزقه وأجله وعمله وشقي أو سعيد فوالله الذي لا إله غيره إن أحدكم ليعلم بعمل أهل الجنة حتى يكون بينه وبينها إلا ذراع فيسبق عليه الكتاب فيعمل بعمل أهل النار فيدخلها وأن أحدكم ليعلم بعمل أهل النار حتى ما يكون بينه وبينها إلا ذراع فيسبق عليها الكتاب فيعمل بعمل أهل الجنة فيدخلها. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned here that on the authority of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud who was one of the famous companions of the Prophet ﷺ, as mentioned that in Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah in his book Al-I'lam al-Muwaqqi'in, his famous book that he wrote, he said that Ibn Mas'ud is the most knowledgeable of all the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, more than Ibn Abbas as we know. And one thing, the Hanafi fiqh, there's a lot of it's based off Ibn Mas'ud and his knowledge and his what he learned from the Prophet ﷺ. And he was known to recite Quran very beautifully. There's one story that the Prophet ﷺ, one time he asked him, "Can you recite Quran for me?" And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud's like, "You want me to recite Quran in front of you? You're the one that has been Quran's been revealed to." He's all that, "I like to hear it from you," and so therefore he liked to hear him recite the Quran. So he says that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he is the truthful and the believed. Narrated to us, verily the creation of each one of you is brought together in his mother's womb for 40 days in a form of a nutfa. Then it becomes a alaqa for the same like period. Then a mudghama, a morsel of flesh for a like period. Then there is sent to him an angel who blows in his soul into him and who is commanded with 4 matters. Number 1, to write down his rizq, his sustenance. Number 2, his lifespan. Number 3, his actions, his deeds that he's going to do in this world. And number 4, whether he's going to be happy or unhappy. What that means is that whether he's going to go to Jannah or going to go to Jahannam, he's going to go to paradise or the hellfire. But the one other than whom there is no deity, verily one of you will perform the actions of the people of paradise, till there is but an arm's length between him and it meaning death. And that which will be written overtakes him, and he will act for the action of the people of the hellfire, then he will enter the hellfire. Verily one of you performs the action of the people of the hellfire, until there is between him an arm's length between him and death and and the which he has been written overtakes him, and he does the actions of the people of paradise, and thus he enters paradise. Okay. So you see here, obviously from this hadith, you have a lot of lessons here of qadr, which we've already took already, about predestination or destiny, if you will. like I said, we're not finished with that topic, and we're going to expand about it today a little bit more. This hadith is narrated in Bukhari and Muslim and Ibn Dawood and Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, and many of the hadith collections that we mentioned in our first week of class about those different hadith collections. Okay, so let's go over the hadith a little bit. Number one, you have Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. First thing he says that the Prophet ﷺ said this, and then he says that the Prophet ﷺ is a truthful and believed. Now this is a little different. Usually when you have a hadith narration, you have like the companion said, the Prophet ﷺ said, and then he tells the hadith, right? But here you have Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he throws something else extra. He says, the Prophet ﷺ said, and he is a truthful and the believed, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. Now, why did Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu add this extra wording in there? Why do you think he added the truthful and believed for? Why did I just narrate the hadith?
Same thing, that because it's very difficult to, believe on Qadar, and this is the thing which, last time, like we discussed, that this is the thing which makes people deviate from the religion.
Very good. So she said something very beautiful. She said that it's because of that this topic is going to be about qadr, about destiny, and it's something that it's hard for people to believe and what to digest, right, to swallow down. So Ibn Mas'ud, from his knowledge, right, from his wisdom, he's saying that what the Prophet is the truthful and believed. This is what happens in your stomach, in the mother's womb, if you will, right? So why did he say truthful and believed? Why did he put these two things? Number one, he says truthful because what the Prophet says is truth. So what you're about to hear is truth. Just believe it, right? And it's going to be hard for you to understand because no one knows what goes on in the womb of the mother, right? Even today we have some knowledge of that, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And number two, he's believed. What do you mean he's believed? He's believed in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down to him. That's believed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given wisdom, right? That's what's understood. So what he's telling you is truthful. And where he got that knowledge from, you have to believe where he got that knowledge from. Right? So Ibn Mas'ud covers all of it in this nice little wording here that he puts down. Right? And so that we see that these things that happens, these four things that I mentioned, if the person's going to be his sustenance, his lifespan, whether he's going to go to paradise or hell, and obviously his actions, are things that even in modern day time with the ultrasound that they do in the stomach of the womb of the mother, you can't see that. Right? You can't see that angel. You can see now the baby now, obviously the embryo and it's growing and so forth. But even that is it's not really clear, that picture, right? So what the Prophet was telling us is something that's amazing, that we know that medical technology today is confirming this. Even 1400 years ago, they didn't have that, right? The Prophet was giving a detailed picture of what happens in the womb of the mother, right? So the first thing that he says that verily the creation of each one of you is brought together in the womb of the mother. What does that mean? Here we see, obviously we're talking about the sperm of the male and obviously the egg of the mother coming together. The Prophet is not trying to say something else happens. He's saying exactly what the medical term or the medical community believes in. And then he says that for 40 days in the form of a nutfa. So that it starts in the stomach and then the womb, I should say, and it grows for 40 days. And this stage is what we call a nutfa. Nutfa is basically a drop. It literally means a drop. A nutfa means a drop of a sperm that fertilizes an egg, and we have that first fertilization. I don't know what the medical term is at that time. It's not called a fetus. It's called something else at that time, right? And if you've ever seen a picture of it, it's very small, exactly like a drop, right? And it grows from there, right? And this happens for a period of 40 days. Then the Prophet said that it becomes an alaqa. An alaqa in Arabic means something alaqa means it's something that attaches, right, to something, right? And this is for a light period. What do you mean it attaches? I don't know if you guys, my wife was just pregnant for the last maybe year, so I got to go all the pictures of what happens in the stomach and watch a bunch of videos and all this kind of stuff. That if you ever see the egg when it gets fertilized, what it does, it attaches to the uterus of the mother, right? And it starts clinging onto it, and what it does, that's where it sucks its nutrients, and that's why you have a thing called umbilical cord. You guys know what an umbilical cord is, right? And what an umbilical cord is, it attaches to the uterus of the mother, the wall of the uterus, and that's where it pulls all the blood and food and everything else from the mother. So it makes sense that it's something attached. So that's what it does. It attaches to the wall of the uterus. And this happens for another 40 days. Right? So the Prophet is probably breaking down exactly what happens with the creation of the fetus in the stomach there. And then the Prophet mentions that then it becomes a mudghama. Mudghama means that, mudghama literally in Arabic, yani means, dhamagha means to chew. Right? That's the word we use in Arabic, to chew. And if you look at the fetus at that time, it looks like a chewed up, type, flesh, if you will. Because it has like bumps in it and it's growing and it develops from there. And so this happens for another 40 days. So what's the span that we have now? How many days do we have up to now? 120, there we go. We got one math major in the house, mashallah. Everyone else is alhamdulillah, needs to get their calculators out, right? So 40 days, 40 days, 40 days. We got 120. And then the Prophet says that then he sends an angel is sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that blows into him, that the angel comes down to this mudghama and basically blows the soul into it. But before we go into that, let me ask you this question here. That we know Adam alayhi salam, how was he created? Did he go through 40 days, 40 days, 40 days? Kun fayakun, right? Being it was. Boom, Adam alayhi salam was. Immediately, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says he took mud and created him and so forth. And that a soul was blown into Adam alayhi salam also. He was hollow, right? And a soul blown into him. So why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why did he make this 40 day period? We all know it's 9 months usually, the average is, to have a baby. Why not just have a kid like this, humans, like in a faster term? Like 1 month or 2 weeks, and then boom, the baby comes out. Why go through a whole 9-month period for? Why like the long duration for? What's the wisdom in that? Go ahead, say it a little louder.
Going through the stages, teaching something in stages, or doing something in stages.
So what's
right? Intervals, regular intervals.
Right. So what's important about intervals and stages?
Like you get to know one stage and then you go to another and then you go to another. Like don't go in a haste.
Right, there you go. You picked up a big word there, right? Which I'm going to take haste and I'm going to give you the opposite of it, and that is what? The word patience, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is treating that if you want something great, it's going to take patience, right? Something as great as the creation of a human being, it's going to take time. Same thing about us. This knowledge that you're learning, taking classes and memorizing Quran, it's a long thing. It's going to take patience for you to get to that level, right? It takes a certain amount of time for it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching mankind that it takes time, right? Everything takes time. Even in the creation of the world, how long did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take to create everything? What do we know from the verses of the Quran? 6 days, right? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create it like, He's Allah, right? He has all power. Just boom, there you go. Why does Allah need to take 6 days for? Some people I say like, oh, what, He's not capable of doing it, He needed time? No. Allah is training us, right? Oceans, and then mountains, and then trees, etc. And then Allah created Adam on the day of Friday, that's mentioned, right? So everything has a process. Tadarruj, we call this in Arabic. And even with people, sometimes people you have to work on for them to become a good Muslim, or your family members maybe have not been practicing, or if you have non-Muslim family members, sometimes it takes a long time to work on them, and you have to have patience with them. Right? We know the story of Yunus alayhi salam, right? Jonah. Right? He didn't have patience with his family, with his people, and he took off. He's like, these people are not listening, and then Allah kind of reprimanded him for that. Right? We all know he got swallowed by the whale. So we have that issue also, right? So we say that after 20 days, Allah sends an angel to this person, and Allah commanded the angel to send to this fetus, and this is one of the angels from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not like a appointed angel, like Jibril alayhi salam. All he does is talk to prophets. Allah sends one of the angels from all his angels to come down and blow into him the soul, into the body. right? And then now this soul, after 120 days, comes alive, if you will, if you want to think about it. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Isra, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ويسألونك عن الروح قل الروح من أمر ربي وما أوتيتم من العلم إلا قليلا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and they ask you, O Muhammad, what is the soul? What is this ruh? Right? The soul is of the affairs of my Lord, and mankind has not been given any knowledge except a little of it. So in terms of what does that mean that a soul goes into the body? It's blown into it. How is it blown into it? That is that we have little knowledge of that. Right? There's not much that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us about that. But what we do know, there's a hadith about when you're about to die. All of us, when we go through that stage, even though it might be kind of tough, right? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the angel of death comes to us, right? And tells the soul, come out of that body. And if it's a good soul, the Prophet says like the water coming out of a cup. It just rolls right up, right? Just comes up very, very easy. And what the hadith mentions that the angel will wrap that soul in a garment from the garments of Jannah. And then take it up to the heavens, and there's a very long hadith. And then so it says if it's a bad soul, that body wants to hold on to that soul. Right? Because it doesn't want to go and meet its Lord because it wasn't a good soul. It knows it's going to have problems. So it clings onto the body, and the angel has to rip that soul out. And that's why people scream and people yell when they're dying. Right? Because it's painful for them. But that angel has to rip that soul out and then wraps it with the garment of the hellfire and then takes it up to the heavens to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what we know about from this hadith, what can we say something about the soul? What could you take from this hadith? Let me see if you guys could pick up on something here. About the soul. Like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse that you guys have known only a little of it. Well, what can we say about the soul here? Think really hard. That the soul has a what? Has a form. Because it said it could wrap them with a garment, meaning that what? Has a shape. Right? That if it's wrapped with a garment, that means it could be what? It could be big, it could be small, it has something, right? So we know that the soul has some type of mass, some type of kind of shape, if you will, right? Is it like the same? Is it 5 feet 6? Is it whatever? Or that does it have weight? No. Some scientists or some medical community they weighed the body of a human when it's alive, and right when it dies, it says that it actually loses some weight. Like there's some experiments that have done. So that means that when the soul comes out of the body, that as if it has some type of a weight to it. Like there's a small decrease in the body of a human when it dies. Like if it's 160 pounds if it dies, right? It's like 159, 158 after the moment of death. They weighed the body. Because you know those hospital beds, it's like a weight also, So they don't have to put you on the scale. They just know how heavy the hospital bed is. So they see that when a body dies, without blood coming out of the body, I'm saying this normally, that actually goes down in weight. So it almost shows you that there's something that left the body, which is interesting there. They almost could measure it, that there is something that happened there. But of course, the medical community is not going to say there was a soul, because they don't believe in that, right? They don't want to say that at all. But let me ask you this question. One thing when we learn about this stuff here, we're always, anytime we learn about stuff in the Quran, about souls, about Jannah and Jahannam, what that opens the door in for a lot of questions, where people say, prove to me, where is Allah? Prove to me, where is Jannah? Prove to me, where is thing? And so we're always, the faith community is always like, on guard. How do we answer these questions? So what happens when we learn about this, after 120 days, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the angel blows the soul in the body. The medical community has said that after 2 weeks, some people say 4 weeks, let's say 28 days, the doctor could sense a heartbeat in the fetus. Right? I don't know if you guys have that little thing when the mother's here when you're pregnant. Same thing with my wife, they put a thing on your stomach and they're like, you can hear the heartbeat of the baby, oh my God. Good. And it's really fast, like 160 beats per minute. Boom, boom, has this like really cool like wavy sound to it, right? So hold on. So if you know the medical community says that, so I'm a little sick and I get headaches when I talk a lot. When the medical community says that you can hear the heartbeat of a baby after 2 weeks or 4 weeks, let's say 28 days, and we have this hadith here, that says after 120 days, what can we say? How do we answer that as Muslims? Do we say this hadith is wrong? Do we say that, oh no, there's something else? How can we make a reply? What do you guys think?
I mean, we could just say that Allah has willed the heart to start circulating blood through the bodies to help it grow, but the soul isn't in it yet.
Okay, very good. Excellent.
The body is a vessel, so it hasn't come into it yet, but the body's moving.
Very good, very good. So that's exactly that. That even though there's a heartbeat in that fetus, there's no soul in there yet. How can that be? Is that weird? Tell me another example of that. What's another example of a body has a heartbeat but no soul in it?
Because at that time the body is not formed.
Okay, but it has a heartbeat. So I mean, even though it's a little speck, a little fetus this big, or I don't know how big it is, right? But there's a heart is beating. You can hear it with the whatever the microphone thing, right? I don't know what they call it, ultrasound or something. I don't know, right? So we could say that. But what is another instance of a body that has a heartbeat but no soul?
I guess someone who's brain dead.
Someone who's brain dead. Okay. What's something else? All you guys do this. Sleeping, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, when you sleep, we take your soul out. And those Allah wills, Allah does not put the soul back in. And who He wills, He brings the soul back to you and you wake up, right? So every night we have a minor death that happens to us, right? I don't know if you ever see some people sleep, their eyes are kind of like open sometimes, but they're gone, they're sleeping, right? And you could like wave in front of their eyes and they don't wake up. But they have a heartbeat, but the soul is not there. That's why the scholars said that the soul gives life to the body, if you will, right? It's like a car, it won't move until you put gasoline in it. And then, obviously, there's a lot of other things. You have to turn the key, and then have a lot of other things go on. But without the gasoline, it doesn't move, right? It's still a car. It's an empty vessel, if you will. So the soul gives life to it. And same thing when we sleep, it's the same thing. Don't ask me about sleepwalking. That's a whole other issue. I don't know about how necessarily how to answer that. But we know that, right? And that's why some people, when they're asleep, you see someone knocked down on the ground, you see, like, guys, he's dead asleep. Right? We use that term in English. You even say the word dead. Because they're like, it looks like they're dead, right? Their tongue's out, their limbs are totally, relaxed, right? So that's the same thing also. So that doesn't mean that the medical community has, canceled out this hadith or it goes against it, but no, it could be that you have a soul, you have a body but doesn't have a soul in it, right?
So that means the fetus will be sleeping for 120 days?
There you go. Yeah, you can put that. It's not necessarily sleeping, it's growing. One thing humans, that's one thing, we grow when we sleep, right? At least the babies do that. That's when it's in the baby sleeps. It's growing, right? So yeah, so you can see, you could say that if you will, right? It's there, but it doesn't have a. What do you say exactly? Sorry, how do you word it? What's the wording that you use?
For the fetus?
Yeah. What did you say that it's sleeping? Oh, it's sleeping. Yeah, you can say that. That's fine if you will. That's good. There you go. Alhamdulillah, that's good. Let me ask you this. I'm just to make sure your brains are working at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. That when we see that the soul is blown into the body after 120 days, what fifth issue, what Islamic legislation issue do you think this pertains to? A very common issue that we have. Abortion, right? Very big thing in a debate in the presidential elections and so forth. Right, and so we can say that here. So what can we say then if it's abortion? What can we say if we know that a soul comes in after 120 days? What do you think? Some arguments, some discussion that scholars have talked about.
So we say that it's okay to get an abortion before that point because there's no soul in it.
Right, exactly. So some people said that before 120 days, there's no soul in it, so therefore abortion could be okay. Well, we're going to get into this. Don't write anything down here. We're going to have a whole slide on this in a little bit, right? And after it, it's like almost like what? Taking a life. Because you're killing someone. Because that baby, even though it's not out of the womb yet, but it has a soul in there. Right? As all of us here have souls, right? So that's very interesting here. So there's a couple of things that are pertain to this. And we'll go over this issue now. So the scholars have broken it down into 3 cases in terms of this whole abortion issue. I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. But it's relevant, obviously, from from the discussion that we're having here. The general case in Islam is that abortion is haram, it's not allowed. Okay, that's like the general case, and we'll get to the exceptions in a little bit, right? So that's case number one. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Mursalat, He says, فَجَعَلْنَاهُ فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ إِلَى قَدْرٍ مَعْلُومٍ, that we have placed the fetus in a safe holding in the womb of the mother until a appointed time, until it comes out. 6 months, 7 months, 9 months, whatever, if you will, 52 weeks, I mean, whatever, not 52 weeks, sorry. Well, whatever, how much time it is, right? So that's the general rule, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we have placed it in the womb of the mother, and then it comes out at an appointed time. So don't try to take it out earlier, or don't try to take it out any later. It has an appointed time, so we'll see, right? So that's what we have. That's case number one. Case number two, if the mother's life's in danger. That's it, if she carries on with this pregnancy, it's going to cause the mother to die or get really sick, right? If she continues with this pregnancy, right? Because of the way the baby's forming, or something like that. Sometimes the baby doesn't attach to the uterus walls and it causes internal bleeding and causes all these other things, if you will. So what we say in this, that we have a principle in fiqh, or at least in qawaid fiqhiyah, the axioms of jurisprudence, that we say that if one is overtaken by two evils, then one should choose the lesser of the evil. Okay? So we say since the baby would be the more, that losing the woman's life will be more of the bigger evil, because she's already established in this world, she's already living already, the baby hasn't come out yet. So what will sacrifice, you know how terrible it sounds, the fetus in the stomach to keep the mother alive. So in this case, even though if it's past 120 days or before 120 days, that the mother, they could have an abortion at that time to save the mother's life. But this only should be done with proper medical advice. And if it was a Muslim doctor would be better to make that ruling. Obviously, the person should just make that decision on their own. And then you have number three, which is unwanted, and you can put the word "and forced" conception. Unwanted and forced, because you have to have both of them. What do I mean by that? Unwanted and forced conception means that in case of a rape, right? I mean, you know how terrible that happens, but unfortunately it happens in this world, right? That if rape does happen, a woman is raped and forced, and she gets pregnant because of that act, the scholars have said that it's better that she does it before 40 days, that she can have an abortion, right? And some scholars says up to 4 months, up to basically 120 days, she can do it, right? So what they said about this is that because if a woman obviously goes ahead and has this baby, that will remind her of that whole action that happened. It will be a lot of trauma for her, right? I mean, she might not want to care for that baby. She probably will, just because that's how mothers are. So because of that trauma and that psychological, issues that she might go through, then it's okay for her to abort that baby. And usually she can do that before 120 days. Obviously, if that happens to a woman, she should take tests and make sure that she's not pregnant. If she is, then obviously she should catch it. Sometimes women, they don't know they're pregnant until 2 or 3 months, because she doesn't show or something like this, if you will. So this is allowed if that does happen. This is what the scholars have mentioned. Now the last case, and you might say it's case number 4, it's the last point on the slide there. If somebody has unwanted intercourse, means illegal intercourse, meaning that they're not married, right? Girlfriend, boyfriend, something happens, they can't control their desires. Now, if that girl gets pregnant now, right, then they said that she should not have abortion. She should go ahead and have that baby, right? Because that's something that happened, even though it's not as worse as rape, obviously, that's something different. But this was something that, they weren't trying to do, and whatever things got out of hand, blah, blah, blah. So here that this will be haram for her to have an abortion. You know what I mean? I know maybe it's better if those two people get married and stuff like that to patch it up. Unfortunately, this happens in the community a lot. I know how many cases that happens, many times, and so forth. Right? Sometimes you see some people they get married and even before 9 months they have a baby, and then you're like, what's going on, right? But anyhow, we'll just leave that at the side. So anyhow, in terms of that, then they should not have abortion. That would not be a legit cause for someone to have abortion at that time. So any questions on this? We covered all the aspects there to an extent. Good to go. Good, inshallah ta'ala. Next thing that we have is the Prophet ﷺ mentions that the angel, as it's sent down after 120 days, is commanded to write down 4 matters. Number 1 is his sustenance. That's number 1. So sustenance means anything that a person benefits from or utilizes. From their property, how much money they have in their bank account, from cars, from like the land that they will get. And the scholars have broken down sustenance into 2 categories. Number 1 is something that utilizes for the body. That's like their food they're going to get, their drink, right? Housing, vehicles, if you will. Use your body using it in a vehicle to get from one place or another. Number 2 is that sustenance used for their knowledge, which is for their deen, their religion, and that is knowledge and risk and how much iman that the person will have. So that is written down also for that person at that time. Okay. So knowing this, some wise person would say that if this angel already writes down this thing already, do I have to work? Can I just sit down on the couch and I can just relax? Money will fall from the sky, or somebody will knock on the door and say, hey, this is your inheritance from your grandfather from 20 years ago we didn't know of. Does a person have to, could they sit back, or do they have to work, or how do we understand that? And provide your reasoning for each one. The answer is kind of obvious, but I want to see you guys give reasoning behind it though. This kind of goes back to the last of you.
Is there, we have to, do the action to get it.
Okay, so we have to do the actions to get it, right?
Allah already knew what you were going to do, so He knew what you were going to need.
Right.
That's how it's written down.
One of the prophets, the one that had the disease, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that he could be cured, but he had to do the action to be cured. Like, I think he had to rub his feet or something on the floor and water came out.
Right.
And so that when he put the water on his body, he was cured. But he had to physically do the action.
Very good. So this is Ayyub alayhi salam, right? So we see that you have to put in effort, even as small as one, and the risk is there. It's like just open the door and you'll see it flooding, if you will. But you have to put that effort in. A great example of this is Maryam alayhi salam. Right? Everyone knows when Mary was pregnant, right? We all know when a woman's pregnant, they have a baby, they can't. Well, can you go wash the dishes right now? You can't do that, right? So I'm on the bed. Oh my God, I'm going through this crazy amount of pain, and I can't do anything else. But what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell her to do when she's going through this and she just had her baby, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that what? Shake the palm tree, and what you'll see, dates will fall down. Right? Even though how, for example, Brother Mu'tasim here, how muscular he is, mashallah. He goes to the gym once a year or twice a year, something like this, right? If you were to go to any tree outside and shake it, I would bet that it probably won't move that tree very much. And everyone knows palm trees. If you try to move a palm tree, it's not going to move very much. And you tell a pregnant lady to go move a palm tree, not going to move, right? Even all respect to pregnant ladies and we respect them and so forth, right? It's not going to move. But what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trying to say? Put a little bit of effort in, right? Even though you're pregnant, we're not just going to have anything just fall from the sky. Even though Allah blessed her and she's a mother of a prophet and she should have, if anything, she should have someone come and give her a silver tray with food on it, right? But even Allah says, shake the tree, and guess what? Boom. Dates fell down, right? And then a spring came out, and so she could drink from, right? But you have to put in the effort in a little bit and take that, we say the asbab, you have to take the means, right? Go to that school, right? And then you'll see Allah will open up doors for you, right? Now you got your degree. Take that interview, you'll see what happens, right? But you have to go ahead and put that effort in, always. So never give up on any of the doors that might be open, right? You have to keep on knocking. That's why you see some brothers like, I can't get a job, it's tough, or even sisters. I don't want to say brothers, sorry. And so the thing is are you putting resumes out there? Are you calling people? Are you on careerbuilder.com? You know, are you on LinkedIn? Right? You have to keep on knocking on the door, and you never see which one's going to go. Right? You don't never know. I think everyone here has that type of has experienced this in their life sometime or another. Right? Even myself, when I went to Egypt just to study Arabic. We're supposed to come back after 1 year. Right? That was our plan. The next thing we stayed for 7 years, right? And we did the whole Al-Sarab degree. But I never do that. But like, if I never would have gone there, I never knew that door was going to open up. Right? I would say, I don't know, that's not for me. I can't afford it, and I could tell you I couldn't afford it. My bank account would not let me study for Egypt for 7 years. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens ways. You never know. But you have to put yourself out there for it to come out, for that door to open, if you will, right? So that's another thing, that you have to take your sustenance as much as you can. And this is a great lesson for a lot of the youth out there. Try to put as much effort as you want. Being on the couch is not going to necessarily help you. Right? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions after that his lifespan, right? That how much years he will live. And this is not dependent, even though how bad this sounds, but I'm going to clear it up right now. It doesn't matter how healthy you are, if you eat organic food your whole entire life, or you eat flaming hot Cheetos your whole entire life, if you're ordained to die at 30 years old, or 92 years old, that's going to happen. Now, by me saying this, guess what? Should we eat healthy?
Yes.
Or should we just give up on it and just go back to the oily halim and, some samosa that whatever, that's sitting in oil, or pakoras, or go eat chili cheese fries, right? What should we do? Okay. Even though you know that you're going to die at 30 years old. Why? So why eat healthy then?
Because it will give a quality of life.
Quality of life?
Because this body doesn't belong to us, ultimately it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You're hinting on something. Usually we learn in this world that eat healthy to live longer. Islamically, that kind of technically somewhat wrong, but the essence of that statement is good. We don't want to say that's wrong because people will go berserk, but you have to explain a little bit more.
I
But
would say that you're not going to rent a really nice car and then return it all damaged and scratched up and stuff.
Okay, so you're there. You're not. I'm looking for exactly why do we eat healthy then? Why do we work out and go to the gym?
Please Allah.
Okay, please Allah. Okay, good. That's always, man. Please Allah is like the default answer for everything in the world.
Because I think that this body is given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Thank you. Very good. This body is a trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like someone giving their wallet to you and say, hey, I'm going to come back. Here's my cell phone. Just keep it. I'm gonna make wudu. I don't want it to drop in the sink or something, right? So you're like, oh my God, okay. I'm not going to break the screen. I'm not going to throw it away. But when it kind of comes back, I'm going to say, here you go, right? Or rent a car. You're saying the rent a car thing was actually very nice, right? So Allah gave us this body. So why do we eat healthy and we work out for it? Because it's a trust Allah gave us, right? That heart Allah gave you that's beating right now, right? Don't clog it up and block all the ways to it, right? With cholesterol and everything else. But it's a trust. So by you not taking care of it is what? Being ungrateful to who? Allah. Right? He gave you something very nice. I gave you that phone and this is what you did to it. You broke it, right? That's not cool, right? I let you borrow my car and this is what you did to it. You didn't fill it up. You just return it back. Right? You have friends that do that, right? Can I borrow your car? You come back like half the tank's gone. Right? Thank you. Right? Why didn't you fill it up or something? Right? So same thing here, right? That's the reason why we eat healthy and so on. Yes, because also we want to prolong our life and so forth, but that we don't know. So if somebody does, and I know people that eat healthy, like crazy, in terms of they take all these supplement vitamins, a garlic pill and this, all these type of, they have like 30 or 20 bottles on their kitchen table. Right? Everything, supplements this B vitamin, B6, and this, right? Organic food, go to Sprouts and go to Trader Joe's and go to the farmer's market, and now that person still, even though bad it sounds, still got cancer, right? Even though they still ate all this stuff. But does that mean they give up? No, right? If not ordained that for you, then whatever. But alhamdulillah, that's good. We should try to eat good, to stay away from these things as much as possible. right? So I want to make sure everyone got the message of, we want you to eat healthy, right? We want you to do organic or whatever you could do. And exercise definitely as much as you can. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here in this ayah, وَلَنْ يُؤَخِّرُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Right? But Allah will never delay the soul when it has its time to come. Delaying the soul, delaying the death of the soul. Right? If it's March 2017, third day of March 2017, or whenever, right? That's your date, doesn't matter. You're not going to delay it anymore. But let me ask you this question: is it better for us to have a longer life or a shorter life?
Long.
Long. Okay.
I feel like, what you're supposed to do is you can start from one.
Okay. That's kind of like a question: is the angels better or the humans better? Type question, right? You can go both ways on this one almost. So he says longer, and anyone will say shorter. Everyone's scared to say shorter. You might die right now or something, right? Allah knows, right? So hopefully that doesn't happen. If it does,
like with babies, if they die, they don't have to worry about where they're just on the street.
Right. Okay, so that's where you want to get off the hook, right? Because you could slip up, right? And so you want to die, you don't want to live too long. You might slip up. You already have a greater chance, like a longer race. You're doing good, but you might fall at the end, right? You might break your leg or twist your ankle or something, right? You do good for 3 quarters, but the 4th quarter you lose a basketball game, right? So should we have a shorter life or a longer life? So he said longer. Anyone will go shorter? What do we have? What else? What else we could say?
As long as the life is blessed.
As long as the life is good for you. So we have this beautiful hadith here in Bukhari, which you should write down and you could repeat or make it dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ahyini ma kanat al-hayatu khayrun li wa tawaffani idha kanat al-wafat khayrun li. Allah, keep me alive as life is good for me, and give me death if that is better for me. What do you mean keep me alive if life is good for me? If you're going to still have iman, you're still donating, you're still worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? But Allah, give me death if that's better for me, right? And lift me from it. What do you mean give me death? Oh Allah, I don't know, if my faith might be shaken. I don't know, take me in this state right now. I don't know what's going to happen to me, right? I'm getting older, I'm getting grumpier, I'm complaining a lot now, you know what I mean? I don't know, I'm kind of losing it, if you will, right? So maybe that might be something. So how are you complaining, if you will? One of the diseases of the hearts the scholars have talked about is fearing death. It's like scholars talk about disease of the heart. They talk about anger, jealousy, envy. So they throw one in there called fearing death or disliking death, right? I'm going to try to put this into this whole thing about lifespan here. What do you think they mean by a disease of the heart is disliking death? I mean, none of us you hear want to die. Yes, I want to die. It's going to be the greatest moment of my life. No, it's natural for humans not to like death, right? You see sometimes that can be painful, right? But what does the scholars mean by one of the diseases of the heart is the disliking, kiratul maut, disliking death. What do you think they mean by that? Like I said, a lot of us might dislike death. So do we have a disease of the heart? Should we be happy when death comes?
Yeah, if you truly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you shouldn't be sad about that if you're going to be going back to your creator.
Should be sad that you go back to your creator?
No, you should be happy.
Should be happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
We shouldn't be sad.
You should. Sorry.
You should not be.
You should not be sad. I hear the not sad. That changed up the whole world there, right? You should not be sad. Okay. What does that mean though? What else? That's one thing there.
If you're afraid of death, it means that shows that you know yourself that you've been doing wrong.
Okay, that's one thing, right? So what they're talking about is the love of this world. I don't want to leave this world, my car, my house, my attachment to my wealth, right? This is the disease of the heart that you want. And not wanting to die, not wanting to leave these properties that you have, and you love this world so much, and you're all, you know, indulged in it, if you will. But one thing is good in terms of disliking death is praiseworthy, is if you're disliking death because you're leaving what? Your family behind, right? And you're sad for them, if you will. And disliking death because you don't know that you don't want to be punished in the hereafter. That's good. That's good. That's commendable, if you will. One thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Fussilat, where He says about those who have istiqamah. Istiqamah means like having steadfastness in your religion. Like you're always, alhamdulillah, you're always working hard, you're always praying. It's not like you pray in Ramadan and then you take 3 months off and then you go back up, if you will. But you're always, yani, you're there in your worship. Yeah, you might fall up a little bit, you get a little lazy here and there. You might go a little bit higher when you go to a class or a conference, right? But since Allah says, those who have istiqamah, says, تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةُ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا تَحْسِنُوا وَلَا تَخَافُوا وَلَا تَحْسَنُوا. Allah says at the moment of death, the angel will come upon these people that have istiqamah and tell them, do not fear and do not be sad. وَلَا تَخَافُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا. What does that mean? Do not fear and do not be sad. The tafsir has mentioned that this means do not fear of what's going to happen in the hereafter. That don't worry, you're going to have a good reckoning, if you will. And do not be sad for the family and the friends you're leaving, if you will. So Allah even shows that when someone's dying, that these are two things that people fear, right? They see their wife, they see their kids in front of them, and they know they're leaving this world. But Allah says that this is normal, that's a human instinct, that's fine. And the angel will come to you at that time and tell you, like, it's going to be okay, we're going to take care of your family. That's the best insurance policy you could have, right? Not the national, whatever, life insurance policy where you have $100,000 and all this kind of stuff that comes down to your family afterward, right? This is the best that you can have, if you will. So that's something that's natural, that's good to have. So this type of disliking death is something that's fine, if you will, if you have that. So this dua is something that's good that you could have. You can say to yourself before you go to sleep or whenever you have, inshallah ta'ala, inshallah you benefit from that. Once you can fill in the cup.
Yeah, he's going to get cleared up right now.
Yeah, please. Appreciate that. Next thing that's mentioned here is his actions is written down. And this is everything from his speech, his movements. He helps somebody, he moves something from the street, right? He does all these different things, right? He cleaned up the masjid. And what he says good words to somebody, if you will, and intentions. What do you mean intentions are going to write down? This hopefully you guys learned something from the first hadith that we took. What do you mean by intentions here? You guys should all get this.
Because the completeness of actions are by intent.
So could you get rewarded by your intention?
What?
Could you get rewarded by intention?
Rewarded more, depending on what you're
What was the hadith you mentioned? Anyone remember the hadith about how you get rewarded for your intention? What the hadith went over? Not in the Amal ibn Niyah. It was another one I told you guys. Remember about sitting on the couch? I'm giving that example about sitting on the couch. And you want to donate, but then you fall asleep, or your phone rings. All right, remember that one?
Is it sort of like if you make the intention to do something good, you get the good deed whether you do it or not. But if you make an intention to do a bad thing and you don't do it, you still don't get the bad deed until you actually do the action.
Very good, very good. But I'm going to add some. I'm going to condition your statement.